In this video, I'm going to cover how to do 2-to-1 twill in a large basket. We're working on a twill blanket basket. If you haven't watched video 1 in the series, check the description below for the link to that. And weave your base, which is an open base with twining to hold your pieces together. Today, we're going to weave a little bit of plain weave and then weave the rest of the basket in 2-to-1 twill and continuous weave. So let's dive in. My first step is going to be spraying the perimeter of the basket on the top side and underneath because we're going to do upsetting. If you already did this in the last video, then go ahead and skip this for now. But upsetting is where you come in and right along the perimeter edge where we did that twining, we're folding these stakes upright to start to train them to build the walls of the basket. This will ensure that they stand upright exactly where we want them to. I'm going to do this all the way around the basket. Before we start weaving, I wanted to invite you to sign up for my email update list, which is all about basket weaving and fiber arts. You can sign up using this QR code or the link in the description below. We send out a once-a-week email all about basketry, fiber arts. It has occasional coupon codes and sales from our Textile Indie shop where we sell basket weaving kits, including the Twill blanket basket and other kits, as well as other basket weaving supplies and tools. So sign up for all kinds of goodies, and I'd love to have you join the Textile Indie community in that way. To start the design of this basket, we're going to do 3 rows of 5/8 inch wide flat reed. So grab that out of your kit bundle or grab a piece, get it wet. I've talked about this before, but I wanted to mention it again, that when I start weaving a basket, I don't pre-cut my weavers. The lengths are already pre-cut in the bundles of reed based on the length of vine that the reed was harvested from. So they cut the vine down from the jungle and then they process it into the flat reed that we're using now. And that length can be anywhere from 3 feet to 15 feet, depending on that vine length. So I like to save as much reed as possible by taking a piece from my bundle. This piece is probably about 15 feet. And I weave from one end around the basket until I run out. I'll splice in a new piece, or I'll set aside the piece that doesn't quite go all the way around and use that for another smaller project. For this guy, we're going to start by grabbing a clamp and clamping this to the outside of a stake. And we're going to work the first 3 rows of this basket in start and stop, which means we start a row, weave all the way around in the row with the 4 stake overlap, and then start the next row. So here we're going to start on the 4th stake in. So I've counted in 4. I'm going to go under the 5th stake so that I can clamp this on top of that 4th stake. I'm going to clamp this in place and then weave around. And I did do a quick check. I went and felt both sides of this piece of reed, and I chose the smoother side. And now I'm questioning myself, so I'm going to flip this over. So the smoother side you want to the outside of the basket. That's going to have less fibers sticking off of it, so your basket is slightly less hairy. So now we're going to weave in an under-over pattern across this wall, and I'm trying to pack this close against that twining that we did. And this, you might want to utilize more of these metal clamps. If you don't have these in your toolkit already, I highly suggest getting a set of these small 2-inch spring clamps because they're super handy for weaving. They help you have control over what you're weaving and help you see what's happening. So we do have these in the Textile Indie shop. One tricky part about weaving such a large basket or getting this first row in place is turning a corner. You want to ensure that you continue that over-under pattern around the corner and you don't accidentally go over 2 or behind 2. So check your corner here, and if you're going behind one stake, then you should be going over the next stake. And then behind, over, like so. If it's laying flat on the table, what that looks like is you're picking up every other and weaving up against every other stake. I'm going to throw another clamp in this wall to hold that in place and turn this around. Now here, I need to make sure I catch this guy and then turn my corner. When you get to the ends of your twining, go ahead and press this right up against those ends so that it packs them into place. Throw another clamp in there. I typically try to stick with 1 clamp per wall, but this basket's rather large, so I'll go a few more just to make sure that I can see what I'm doing. And when I turn a corner, I like to throw a clamp in pretty soon after that corner because it helps me see, am I turning the corner and creating that 90-degree angle that I want in order to start pulling up the stakes tight enough. If you go too loose, your stakes are going to be kind of floppy onto the table. They are already, but even more floppy onto the table, and you won't build your walls up as quickly as if you add a little bit more tension, get that closer to 90-degree angle in each corner, and start to pull up a little bit more dramatically. It can be a thing of practice to see how much reed you need for that first row to fill the space without pulling it in too tight or being too loose. So you can always come back and make adjustments if you find you've been too loose or too tight, but try to get it so that your 90-degree angle corners pull upright. And then this little bit of looseness here where it's kind of flopping over, that's pretty typical and that's okay. One way to tell if you've gone around the basket and accurately done an over under pattern all the way around is if you come to your clamp where you started, I'm going to move this over a bit, and you weave right up into that point. If you end up on the same pattern as that starting tail, then you made it and you've done an under over all the way around. The basket will tell tales on you. So if somewhere you did do an over two and then kept weaving, when you get here, you'll end up being over two over here as well, or needing to go behind instead of in front. So what we need to happen is go behind this stake and then layer this right on top of the end so that we cover the end, go behind one, over top, and then cut to the far edge of this fourth stake over. So I started, my end is tucked under here, that's stake one. I went behind stake two, over stake three, and I'll cut to the far edge of stake four, like so. Tuck this raw end behind stake four, and then clamp those layers together so they don't pop out on you. And now your starting end over here and your ending end are both hidden either behind the row itself or behind a stake, so you can't see those. The ideal is to have no raw ends sticking out in your basket as you're weaving so that your basket ends up being nice and clean and all those edges are hidden. With 3 rows in place, you'll start to see the structure of your basket form. The stakes will start to pull upright and you'll be able to come in and crimp these corners. If you want more of a square base, once we start weaving the twill, we're going to be working in a round or in continuous weave, so it is going to round out, and then with the rim, it will have a round opening. Now we're ready to move on to the twill weave. The twill weave on this basket is going to take the majority of the time for weaving this basket because we're doing it in a 1/4 inch wide flat oval reed, so it's going to take a lot of rows to finish these walls. If you're going to work on this in multiple sessions, go ahead and pull out a few pieces, put them in your water bin, and add as you need to, but don't get all of your reed wet because you'll just have to dry it out, and it does start to get more and more brittle the more often it dries. We're going to be doing this twill weave in continuous weave, which means we're going to start a row and then weave around continuously, adding in pieces as we need to using a 4-stake overlap. So to start out, find the place where you did your 4-stake overlap for that 3rd row of the 5/8 inch wide. So that spot is right here for me. I'm going to throw that clamp back in there just so I don't lose it. Now I'm going to rotate this around to the next side of the basket. I'm going to press these in just a little bit to try to make sure that they're standing upright. Now grab a length of your 1/4 inch wide, and you'll want another clamp to start this row. We're going to start our twill. For twill, especially because we started with plain weave on these first 3 rows, you don't want to reference the last row that you wove because it's going to throw you off. We're going to weave this independently in a 2-to-1, which means over 2, under 1 twill. So go ahead and come in, clamp this to the 4th stake in on top here. And now I'm going to have that be an over. I'm going to go under 1 and then over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1. When you turn the corner, make sure you're continuing that pattern. Over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1. Pack those previous rows down. Over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1. It will be a little bit bubbly for this first row, but we'll balance that out with the next row. Continue over 2, under 1, all the way until you get to that starting clamp. Now I'm back to my starting clamp here. So I'm going to go over 2, under 1, and then cover up my tail. And now I'm shifting the over 2 one to the right. So I'm going to go over this one and over this guy, and then under 1, and then over 2, and then under 1, over 2, under 1, over 2. So if you look at this, we just covered our starting end, so we're kind of weaving at a diagonal right here. We'll make adjustments for that once we finish the basket. And here we did over 2 and then under 1. The next row we skipped this first one and moved it over 1 to the right. So where we were over 2 here, we move 1 to the right, over 2 here. We're going to shift that pattern all the way around the basket so that our twill weave starts to show up and we get that kind of diagonal pattern in the basket. If you look closely at a pair of denim jeans, denim is woven in twill weave, and you can see that kind of diagonal ridge line that happens in the texture of the denim. We're going to end up with a very similar result in the reed. It's just going to be larger and have more of that distinct stair step built up the walls. That stair step spirals around, so you'll see that pattern form as we weave. So continue in over 2, under 1 until you run out of this first length of reed. And because our first row matched that last row of plain weave that we did in the 5/8 inch wide, you're going to need to set this right on top of the reed, and don't let it sit and slide under like this. It needs to sit right on top to make sure that we take up the space that we need it to. Okay, when you run out of reed, wherever you run out, you want to end on an over, so it's to the outside. I'm going to cut this down, and we're going to treat this as a 5 stake overlap because we have that over 2. So we're going to move back 5 stakes, tuck a length under that 5th stake over, and then overlap and come over top. So grab another length of reed from your water bundle. I'm going to cover this end and go back, layering right on top of this piece, tucking this end in like so. And this is splicing in or 4 stake overlap technique that I've used in a lot of my basket workshops here. So you'll just treat this in the same way. We're just working in continuous weave. So similar to the bean pot or other baskets that we worked in continuous weave, but because it's twill, we have to go over 5 stakes rather than 4. So I'll continue, making sure I continue that over 2, under 1 pattern, circling around. And now I'm back to where I started, so I'm up to my 3rd row here. You can see we have 2 rows, but this little skip up at a diagonal is where we started. I want you to think about the tension or ease that you're weaving with, because it's going to dictate the overall shape of your basket. Working in twill, it can be somewhat easier to weave looser because you have that float of the over 2 that leaves a little bit extra space for the stakes to move around and kind of helps to not pull in too tightly. So consider that, but as you weave, if you're pulling on your weaver tightly, your basket is going to start to pull in, your stakes are going to pull in, so that the opening ends up smaller than your base. And because this is designed to be a blanket basket, if you want that open mouth shape so that you can store blankets or other large items in your basket, then you'll want to maintain the tension that's consistent up the walls of your basket, or relax it even a little bit so that your basket bows out and creates more of a vase shape where it angles out so the opening is larger than the base. You can do that too by loosening up or easing up, adding a little bit more ease each stitch by pulling on that over 2, leaving a little bit of a bubble, and that will relax your stakes outwards. I'm going to maintain the tension by just holding this, trying to get this to lay flush, and build each row, checking each row to make sure that I'm going straight up and down and not pulling in at all. If you haven't watched the hanging vase basket or the bean pot basket where we worked in continuous weave, playing with tension and ease to create a specific shape, then I highly suggest watching that and playing around with that basket to practice your tension and ease and your weaving control so that you can dictate how you want your baskets to turn out. This is a great basket to practice that on as well, but if you're struggling to maintain the tension and get your walls to come straight up, back a few rows up, take a few rows out, and reweave, loosening up a little bit, maybe even take a break, step away for a little bit, breathe, and then come back to it. Weave a few more rows and see if you can ease up that tension. When you've woven the suggested amount of rows, or you have 2 inches at the top of your stakes, you're ready to finish off the 2-to-1 twill. We're going to do one last row of start and stop weave at the top that the sandwiched rim will sit on top of. So to finish this off, because we have that angle where we started and did continuous weave, we have this little jog. You're going to find the spot that you started. So right here, my little tail's tucked under this weaver. I'm going to follow up that stake and back this up to that same weaver. I'm going to cut this guy right on top here, like so, and then tuck it under the row before. So it disappears in there. And that will even out, because we're on the same stake we started, it'll even it out and we'll have more of a balanced upper edge. Now you want to grab a piece of the 1/4 inch wide flat oval that wraps around your basket top once with some overlap to account for that 4 stake overlap, and weave one more row. We're going to weave this in plain weave. So start on an over and weave over under all the way around the basket, doing a 4 stake overlap when you get to the start. Now here I'm at the beginning again. I'm going to cover that end, go under the second one, over the third one, cut to the far edge of the 4th stake, and then tuck this behind. And that is my top row of plain weave. That's what we'll build the rim around. And that is how to weave 2-to-1 twill in the walls of the basket, as well as weave an extra large basket. Thanks for joining me in this video. Be sure to check back next week for the next section of this series where we'll be finishing off the rim. Until then, check out this video, subscribe and like this video for more basketry content, and I will see you later. Bye.